Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jake from TAJ, and we're wrapping up Season 5, heading into Season 6. So you can just look at the history of this dynasty. 8-5 the first year, but you know what? We haven't lost less than 10 games at all, except for in Season 1. I mean, we've been on a tear. This rebuild actually took way faster than what I thought. Back-to-back Rose Bowls. I thought we would have a legit shot at the national championship last year, but it actually didn't happen. We went 13-1 for the second consecutive year and ended up in the Rose Bowl and winning it once again versus Iowa. But let's look at the national championship. So it looks like Texas got pretty much throttled, I think, by Florida as they finished an undefeated season, their first national championship in probably 10, 12 years, something like that. It's been a while. Then Auburn, this actually makes me feel a little better here. They lose pretty close to Notre Dame, as Illinois actually kept up with Stanford. They lost by 3, as Illinois is one of the teams I have my eyes on next year to play them. We'll see. Clemson ends up blowing out Cincinnati, and as you can see, South Carolina actually blew out Ohio State. So leaving into bowl season, going into the offseason, look at this. Sean Lewis, a new defensive coordinator, as our defensive coordinator does get a new job, and he moves on to be the head coach at Central Michigan. I didn't expect that. I thought the offensive coordinator would leave, but I definitely didn't expect our defensive coordinator to leave and get a new job. You see Stockstill does get an extension with us, so he is sticking around for a couple more years. We'll see how that goes. But our biggest news comes in players leaving, and we speculated a little bit. I didn't know if it would happen, but it happened. Drayvon Jennings, after that Rose Bowl performance, only 3 incompletions, he ends up declaring for the NFL draft. He's projected to go in the 6th round, and I usually don't like to persuade guys to stay. If they want to leave, then I just let them leave. I think it's just a natural part of the game, and he ends up getting drafted. So we get our first draft pick ever in SJSU Dynasty history here on the channel, and you can just see, you know, we only had one guy, and just looking at a team like Alabama who had 10 guys drafted, I'm pretty sure they may have had more than that in real life. I'm not sure. But let's just move into recruiting. So our recruiting class is pretty good so far. We want to just bulk it up a little bit and see if we can get some of the top guys. Eric Peterson actually locks us out. He's the #1 middle linebacker in the nation. But then we go after Jordan Mann, who I really want. We need a big defensive presence on that D-line because we are going to be missing Terrence Miller and Andre Armstead, who both graduated, so we will need to replace them. Christian Leak is a pretty good guard. I like him as well. We're down by 1,000, so we decided to put 3,600 on him. He has pretty good blocking ability all around, so I want to see what I can do with him. He would definitely be redshirted because we have an all-senior offensive line. And then we have Scott Randall, a tackle, who is still left on our board. We'll see how it goes. So then we advance to signing day, and we end up getting Christian Leak. So that's a good sign. He's going to be a part of the future going forward. He's a #9 guard. I want to redshirt him because when he does start, he might be 78, maybe even 80 overall as a starting redshirt freshman. Eric Peterson commits to the USC Trojans. But we get Jordan Mann. And this is the guy we wanted, the #4 defensive tackle, big man in the middle, 6'4", 275, and we actually won by a big margin. So let's look at our full recruiting class. We get 2 kickers. After 5 seasons of struggling to get a kicker, we get 2 here going into Season 6. Kai Malik Calgary pretty much headlines the rest of this class as Jameer Hines actually comes in, probably going to be starting at safety. So let's look to see where we're ranked. We're ranked #6. So we actually did not have 20 recruits on that board. It looks like we have a bunch of walk-ons on our squad as we look at all of our signings here. We are 91 offense, 83 defense, and 86 overall. We are now a 6-star school. So wow, we should be getting some of these top 5-star prospects. As let's just look at who did walk on. Looks like Harvey, a running back, did. Let's see, Baker, outside linebacker, walked on as well. I think McFadden was on our board. Actually, I don't think he was. But then we get into position changes and we look at these guys. I mean, we're actually really deep at every position. Denzel Knox is coming back. He's going to be 92 overall. He's probably going to probably go up to about 95 or so, 96 maybe even. Lucas Jardins, he's coming in as a freshman. Jordan Armstead is coming off of his redshirt year. We're pretty deep at receiver as well. John Allen, Tyree Jordan, and John Douglas all get to train this season, as I don't know who's going to start there. I'm thinking Tyree Jordan. He's the most athletic. And then left tackle, we do have a freshman here, Jarrett Kennedy. He'll have to start there, and we'll see what happens with him. But then we have an all-senior offensive line besides him. All positions except one. It's one freshman left tackle and then all seniors. That's going to be interesting because our offensive line blocked really well last year, and it's going to be excited to see how they do. But then looking at our defensive line, Jordan Mann is actually our best rated defensive tackle, but he actually has really good finesse moves. I'm actually thinking about starting him as a true freshman. I don't know if, Neil Bonds and Sherman Kurtz made the impact that I thought they would have, and I think that possibly Jordan Mann can have that. So just looking at safeties, Michael Bailey is here. I'm thinking about moving him to linebacker, and I think that's what we're going to do just because we have Zamir Hines, who we did recruit specifically to be more of a zone coverage guy, and Bailey does not have that zone coverage ability. And then we have Daniel Dunn, who did come in as an athlete, but we knew he would be a running back all the way, so we move him over to running back. So let's move over to training results, and look, Denzel Knox is 98 overall. I don't doubt that he'll be 99 by the end of the year because awareness does go up naturally. But here's the position that is talked about in camp. Ray Reed versus Josh Talevsky, the battle of the starting quarterback. Ray Reed is rated a lot higher overall wise, but look at the throwing attributes. They're the same. And I think it just comes down to who's going to play better in the game. Talevsky's got 2 inches on him as well. That is definitely an advantage, getting the ball out. And he actually can move a little bit better, 68 speed to 61 of Ray Reed. And Ray Reed's actually been waiting as the backup for so long. It would be crazy to keep him as the backup still after never being able to start, but we'll see about him. So looking at receiver, we do actually move Jay Taylor over to receiver, and it's because Daniel Dunn's coming in. And I think that, he's just going to get a lot more playing time at receiver, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be lined up at running back. He still has running back skills. So I will line him up at running back when, in certain packages, and, he's going to get a lot of jet sweeps and things like that, things that get him the ball in space. Emmanuel Thomas comes into this year, 95 hit power. That's actually really, really good. As remember, he was starting to start the year last year, but then he lost his spot to Michael Pryor. So he's back in the starting lineup, hoping that he will, prove me wrong as far as last year and have a big senior year this year. We have a lot of seniors on that defensive line and in that linebacking core as we look to get better on offense and defense. We'll see. We are a 6-star school now, and that's how it's going to be. So we actually move into custom conferences. We decide to do something different. We're moving into the Big 12. And the reason why is because I'm kind of sick of playing Pac-12 teams, to be honest. And like I said, this is probably the last year that we are going to be controlling this team as a user. And I'm probably beyond that. I'm going to be simming seasons just to see how we would do in the future. I will still be recruiting, but pretty much simming seasons we'll see. I don't really know. But I just want to move into the Big 12, give us a new challenge, play some new teams as well. I just want to keep this dynasty fresh. I don't want to get bored with it. So that's what I'm deciding to do. And then I decided to move all BCS automatic qualifiers just because I want the best playing the best. I want 1 playing 2, 3 playing 4, 5 playing 6, so on. I don't just necessarily want, certain conferences playing each other. I want the best playing the best. So let's look at our schedule. We play South Carolina, who did blow out Ohio State. And I said I wanted to play Illinois because they were an up-and-coming team. We are on the road for our first 3 games of the season versus those 2 teams and Nevada. So then we actually come back home and play Auburn at home and UCLA, another Pac-12 school. We wanted to play at least one. But then our conference schedule is kind of easy. We move into the middle of the schedule. We do play Oklahoma and Oklahoma State at the end. Hopefully some of those teams will be ranked by that time in the middle of the Big 12. But I don't know, because right now there are not a lot of teams ranked there. But we'll see how the season goes and as time moves on, how good the conference will be, because that was the problem with the Pac-12. We didn't have any real top 15 schools. Stanford was the only one. And even them, besides that last conference championship game, they didn't really give us too much competition. They threw the ball a little too much, or they ran the ball a little too much and didn't throw the ball enough. And their offense got kind of repetitive. If they didn't have a great offensive line, they would be horrible. So let's just look at our red shirts. We do decide to redshirt Dominique James. I decided to keep Jordan Mann unredshirted because I want to see what he can do at starter. And, you know, I want to give these young guys some clock as well and see what they can do. So let's hop into some practice. Josh Talevsky, this is the first look at him. This is a QB competition. I don't know who's going to start right now, but I want to give Josh Talevsky the first look because I have not seen him at all. And speaking of people I haven't seen, look at Jordan Armstead. This is Andre Armstead's younger brother. Remember, we did recruit him last year. He is coming into his redshirt freshman year, and he is going to get some playing time at receiver. And here is a funny pass that time to Donovan Taylor, the big fellow who used to be a former guard, now our only fullback on the roster. But you can just see Josh Talevsky on some of these throws. It's pinpoint. I mean, look, he's throwing that bubble screen there in perfect position that Jordan Armstead can get some run after catch yardage. And that one is kind of underthrown, and that's the only thing. He doesn't have the great arm strength to fit it in tight windows, but he's got accuracy. Here's Raheem Akusi on the outside. That's a perfect throw on the curl route. Here he is facing a little bit of pressure and throwing the ball deep. And he's got Jordan Armstead. That might be one of the best throws of this practice as Jordan Armstead. He puts the perfect amount of loft on that one, and Armstead actually holds on to it in traffic. So now let's check out Ray Reed, and the senior quarterback who is finally getting his opportunity to possibly start, and I want to see what he can do. His problem last year was that he was just not accurate when he got in the game. And sometimes you'll see in this practice that some of his throws are just off, like that one. I mean, that's a wide open guy in the flat. He just pretty much airmails it. And that's my only downfall to Ray Reed. He also can't run. He's only 61 speed. I need to see him as a more accurate passer. If he can't really run, he's got to do something well. And I'm not sure if he really is the answer at quarterback for us, even though he's been sitting as our backup. And I just want to see, you know, what Talevsky can do as well. I don't know if I'll necessarily give one of them a chance and just ride with them. I might even do something like a 2-quarterback system. I don't really know right now, but I want to get some practice in with them, get some, you know, reps in and see who is the better quarterback. But Ray Reed does have accuracy issues, like that throw over the top of Jordan Armstead. I mean, throws like that, he's just got to make. And I just can't afford to have incomplete passes like last year because Drayvon Jennings bailed us out a lot with his legs. We don't have that this year. So he's got to make the throws when they're there and just missing throws left and right in this practice. I was actually not impressed by Ray Reed here. I mean, he is making some throws like that one. That's a nice tight throw window, but you were seeing earlier a lot of windows where he just misses, but then he shows us throws like that to Sammy Baldwin. That was a great throw. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, and that one was actually an overthrow as well. Akusi just makes a great adjustment on it, and we'll just have to see going into this season what it's going to look like. Our defense actually looks pretty much the same on the in the secondary, as that's a great throw to Jay Taylor as he gets down the sideline. And like I said, I like to see Jay Taylor lined up at receiver. You see he's lined up in the slot here, and I want to see him all over the field. We'll see what he does. But yeah, our defense, I think the main issue is going to be pass rush. We're missing Andre Armstead, Terrence Miller. I don't really know how we're going to replace that right now. James Jackson Jr. is definitely going to have to step up, as he was our third best pass rusher last year. So we'll have to see. So that's going to do it for this episode. I wanted to get some practice reps in. I want to see what you guys think about Josh Talevsky and Ray Reed. Should I just go with the redshirt freshman Talevsky here in the opener or not? I mean, it's up to you guys. I want to let you guys decide really and get your thoughts on that. So that's going to do it for this episode. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. I really like this squad going into this year. We have a lot of, positions of depth. I mean, we have a lot of depth on this roster. I'm really excited about it. And we get a new quarterback. It's always new to play with somebody new. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Season 6 coming up next, so you don't want to miss it. Let's get it. Let's go.